In this video I am telling you the amazing facts about Singapore that you may not know. The symbol of Singapore is the merlion, a creature that is half lion and half fish. Lion's head, the body of a fish. It seems legit. Singapore's symbol and official mascot isn't a real mythical creature. It was designed by British ichthyologist Alex Fraser Bruner in 1964 for the Singapore Tourism Board. The fish represents Singapore's humble origins as a fishing village called Temasek, later renamed Singapura or Lion City, thus explaining the lion's head. There are 64 islands. If you think you can count Singapore's islands with your fingers, think again. Surrounded by a plethora of mini-islands, Singapore has up to 64 offshore islands including St. John's Island, Kusu Island, Pulau Semakau, Pulau Ubin, Lazarus Island, and Sentosa, the largest of them all. While some of these offshore islands welcome visitors to explore their grounds, others are off-limits. You can still get caned in Singapore. Though caning was only a Victorian British thing to do. Well, don't forget that Singapore was a Victorian British colony. Caning was just one of the things introduced into then Malaya and the Straits settlements, one of which was Singapore. You can get caned not only for vandalizing but for sexual abuse, rioting, and drug abuse, to name just a few. The punishment is applied to bare buttocks. Ouch! Women are exempt. Singapore's geology is abundant in granite. In fact, Pulau Ubin literally translates to Granite Island. Although Singapore lacks natural resources, granite is abundant on our island, which is also why quarrying activities started in the 1900s. By the 60s and 70s, there were over 20 quarries supplying granite for the construction movement. While most of the granite quarries have been filled, there are still some that stand today which you can visit. Quarries like Hindhead and Bukit Batok have been filled with rainwater over the years while Dairy Farm was heaped with sand. Singapore has compulsory military conscription of 1 to 2 years. It's a fact about Singapore that this country is pretty paranoid about its neighbors. Well, it seems that way. So on March 15, 1967, national service was made compulsory for all male 18-year-old Singapore citizens and permanent residents. That means there's a substantial military force at any one time standing to attention in Singapore. The Night Safari is the world's first night zoo. Opened in 1994, the open-concept night zoo invites visitors from all over the world to observe more than 130 species of nocturnal animals in their natural habitat without any barriers. That's right, it's the only place in Singapore where you get to watch leopards forage in the dark after dusk. There's a 50-minute tram ride that takes you around the zoo to observe majestic lions gnawing on their meat dinners, koi mountain deer striking poses, and, if you're lucky, a noisy rhino taking a bath. You can get off the tram at the designated point to follow 4 walking trails that let you get close to flying squirrels, dangling bats, and a leopard or two. Hawker centers are the best place to eat local Singapore food. Eating at a hawker stand is one of the best things to do on any Singapore itinerary. 1000% true. Singaporean cuisine is unreal. Regional Chinese dishes like pho mee and Hainanese chicken, Indian thali sets, Malay favorites like nasi goreng, and a whole bunch of other amazing tantalizing delights can be found at Singapore's hawker centers. The forerunner to the food court, these places have dedicated outlets for stalls, each one with a health rating and plenty of tables, chairs, and benches. Changi Airport is home to the world's tallest indoor waterfall. while the first man-made 30-meter waterfall in Singapore was built at Jurong Bird Park in 1971, the tallest one to date is housed at the state-of-the-art terminal at Changi Airport. Standing at 40 meters and surrounded by the terminal's lush indoor gardens, the HSBC Rain Vortex is a gorgeous sight to see, especially from 7:30 p.m. to midnight when the hourly light and sound show is in session. There are also plenty of things to do, eat, and see while you admire the jewel Changi Airport's main star post circuit breaker. Singapore held the world's first Formula One night race. We thought that was because the daytime temperatures are just too hot for sitting in a car and all that get up, and for sitting in a crowd watching those racers zoom around. But actually, it's for the benefit of European viewers. Time difference and all. The first night race in the world was held at Marina Bay Street Circuit for the 2008 FIA Formula One World Championship. More of a tiger city than a lion city. So much for being called Singapura, which simply translates to the Sanskrit word for lion city. The Prince of Srivijaya, better known as Sang Nilottama, was shipwrecked on the island and found himself in the presence of a massive cat that he mistakenly thought was a lion. Unless the lion was on board as his crew, there's no way one could have been found, as the island was mainly inhabited by Malayan tigers then.